Sheila Banks here with another video presentation. This one is called Thy Kingdom Come, and it is based on a blog post that can be found at www.mysticbeastblog.blogspot.com. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Isaiah 5, verse 20. By now it should be apparent to most. Humanity is at war. Although the enemy looks like us, they are not human. They are psychopaths. We actually have an intra-species enemy in our midst. Psychopaths have different genetics and functional MRI results when compared to regular humans. They are a predatory animal without a conscience, and they have been hiding behind a curtain of secrecy for at least 6 millennia. The prophets of the Old Testament worked to expose them. The influence these creatures have had on the trajectory of human evolution cannot be understated. They are parasites who have managed to infest our power structures and are operating today as the ruling class. And to carry out their parasitical predation, this cabal of psychopaths tries to regulate our every move and tax us into poverty. They not only want to control our bodies, but they want to corrupt our minds too. This intraspecies enemy has an invested interest in impairing the human's ability to choose right from wrong. As rulers, they promote messages of hate so that we keep fighting and killing one another. Their aim is to ensnare us in their evil web of lies and destruction. They do not want us thinking clearly about how to achieve healthy relationships. These psychopaths need humanity to be in continual confusion and chaos for fear that we wake up to the very real threat that they pose to our species. And in order to promote their madness, this ruling class has taken control of the mass media. By regulating the messages humanity receives, these psychopaths get to broadcast their twisted interpretations to the masses. By leading us to believe the opposite of what is true, our ability to get in touch with reality gets impaired. The result of filling our minds with twisted meanings is faulty reasoning and inaccurate judgment. And we cannot expect our intuition to remain intact either while operating under the spell of this converse thinking. There are consequences to being out of touch with reality. It threatens a creature's ability to negotiate the demands of living. And in the case of Homo sapiens, this vulnerability also affects our species' ability to make contact with the Almighty Creator. A human primate is situated in a milieu of complex interdependency. In the quest for adaptation, he must learn how to successfully negotiate this set of circumstances. For this reason, the human needs to become more aware of the emotional features of his personality. He needs to gain insight into how his bestial nature interferes with his ability to address the task at hand. Because our species has been granted free will, we can be introspective. By choosing to monitor our own subjective frame of reference, we can learn to manage all sorts of useless moods and selfish impulses that distort our thinking. Free will, then, allows us to downplay our self-centered viewpoint so that we can behave in a more principled fashion. And by learning to address the demands of our interconnectedness in this manner, we get to activate our capacity for conscience. This flowering of conscience not only equips the individual to choose between right from wrong, it is a sign that the human has actually changed the way his cerebral cortex fires. An egocentric view has been replaced with a more expansive mindset in which fear and never-ending desire no longer plague his thinking. Each human primate experiences this burgeoning of conscience differently. However, along the journey to becoming a human being, one must give birth to a conscience. The human self-preservation reflex must be replaced with a deeper appreciation for the organic predicament in which he finds himself. It is as Jesus Christ pointed out, no one can see the kingdom of God unless he is born again. Let's be clear. The development of conscience is about provoking actual changes in the way the brain perceives reality. This inner transformation puts the ego in its proper place, and that is crucial if one is to experience the grandeur of the Almighty Creator who dwells within all. Humility, then, is the prerequisite for gaining insight into what Jesus knew when he claimed, "The kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you." It is as we are told in the first book in the Bible. Man has been created in the image and likeness of God. Nowadays, this perennial message of the mystics has been translated to make it palatable for modern man. Reassuringly, we are told that humans are spiritual beings having a human experience. The part conveniently left out is the fact that your pet is also spirit, having a cat experience. By leading us to believe our species enjoys an elevated status in the universe, we never have to come face to face with the stark reality and terror of our human existence. Do not be fooled. Communion with the one and only Almighty Creator does not come about without a humbling of the ego. There is little hope we will get the spiritual connection we desire as long as we avoid the inner work required of us. That is why Jesus warned, "For the body is a domestic animal, therefore you must go about perfecting yourself." It is no wonder that we are bombarded with self-aggrandizing notions about the nature of man. Without humility, our species cannot make the transformations of consciousness needed to effectively deal with the psychopaths among us. If we are to keep the evil ones at bay, we must be motivated to build a moral fortress based on our human capacity for conscience. At this juncture in evolution, then, if our species is to persist and flourish, we will need a widespread blossoming of human conscience. We have to replace the divisiveness that our psychopathic rulers have inculcated between us. Humankind must achieve harmony, a unity centered around the core of conscience. Some have conceptualized this evolutionary event in man as an ascent into the fifth dimension. Perhaps this is another feeble attempt to capitalize on esoteric knowledge. Many mystics do describe their meeting with God as the soul rising out of the body to meet the Almighty in the cosmos. Or is it another attempt by the evil ones to promote self-aggrandizement? We now know how they cast their spells upon us with the contortion of language and the twisting of meanings. They really do have an invested interest in keeping us confused. They want us perplexed about the transformations of consciousness needed by each one of us if we are to tame the beast within. Down here on earth,